On this day in history, cats landed on the moon, guys became girls, monkeys went into space, entire governments crumbled, and PewDiePie uploaded a video. No shocker there. Can't keep up with all this crazy stuff. This is nuts. Good morning. What's going on? Today is May 3rd. You know what that means? It's Friday, and we are going to do a little thing I like to call On This Day in History. We're gonna look all the way back through the ages, and I'm talking like way back. We're gonna hit the way back machine, and we're gonna talk about what's happened on May 3rd throughout history. All right, what do we got first? We're gonna go back a few years to 1374 BC. That means you go all the way back to zero, and then you go back 1,374 more years. So let's do the math on that. That's carry the 9, 3,393 years ago on May 3rd was the very first solar eclipse that was actually documented, and it was seen at a place called Ugarit, Mesopotamia, by Mesopotamian astronomers who said, and I quote, on the day of the new moon, in the month of Haya, the sun was put to shame and went down in the daytime with Mars in attendance. You know what I think about this? Here's what I think. This was 3,400 years ago, and you had people that looked up at the sky and they knew what was going on. If I was back then and I was looking up at the sky and I saw this huge black part of the sun was gone, I'd be like, oh my god, the world is gonna end. All right, we've got the Battle of Beaver-Hautsveld. Something. I don't know, that's a tough one. This is such a great story though. Okay, so basically what happened on May 3rd, 1382, in a little town called Ghent, which is still around. It's in Belgium, near the town of Bruges. Okay, so basically the city of Ghent was pissed off. Right? They had this ruler, Count Louis II of Flanders. He kind of ruled over the city, and the town was really pissed. They were upset. They didn't like the guy, so they rebelled. They stood up and they're like, you know what, Mr. Lord guy, we're not gonna take this anymore for you. The city of Ghent didn't really take too kindly to that, right? They didn't really like that. So what happened was, on this day, they got in a huge battle. And so you had the Ghent town army versus the Bruges militias, like the county militia, right? The little town, the people won. They beat the crap out of the Bruges militia, and the best part was the Bruges militia was drunk.
What are you talking about?
They were
drunk, man.
Because they
too much
sat around,
drink.
they had control over the town. They didn't care. They just sat in the local pub and just got hammered all day, every day. And they didn't see what was coming. So these guys stood up and they're like, you know what? No, it's not happening. We're gonna kick your butt out of this town. And they did. And everybody lived happily ever after. The end. Okay, next, May 3rd, 1621. See, we're moving along the timeline. We're getting there. We're in the 1600s now. Francis Bacon was accused of bribery. Why is this important? Francis Bacon was the Attorney General and Lord Chancellor of England. So think of like William Barr, right? The US Attorney General. He's in the news, he's on TV, he's a big shot. A very important person. So as Attorney General, he was involved in the court system. But Lord Chancellor Bacon was accused of taking bribes from those appearing in court before him. So somebody was in trouble, they came to court, they saw Mr. Bacon, and they were like, hey, dude, let me give you a few pounds here. You know, what can we do to make this work on the side? So they found out about it, Parliament did, and they started the impeachment process, which they had, but it hadn't been used in over 150 years. and they brought it back and said, dude, Bacon, you're done.
Screw you! You're fired! You're fired! You're fired! You're fired!
So they found him guilty and they dismissed him from his job on May 3rd. All right, moving on. May 3rd, 1765. University of Pennsylvania opens its doors to the very first medical college in the United States, which at the time was the 13 colonies. So this is important, right? This is the beginning of the medical practice in this country, which now, as we all know, is pretty good. So that was an important date. What's even more fascinating is the following day, May 4th, 1765, the very first insurance salesman was born. All right, what's next? May 3rd, 1937. It was a dark and stormy night. And Margaret Mitchell won the Pulitzer Prize for her book, Gone with the Wind. If you guys don't know what the Pulitzer Prize is, it's an award for achievements in newspaper, magazine, online journalism, literature, and musical composition here in the United States. So, Ms. Mitchell won that for her book, Gone with the Wind, which later was adapted into a movie starring Clark Gable and Vivian Leigh as Scarlett O'Hara. So if you have about 7.5 hours when you're doing nothing, you should go watch it. It's a long movie, it really is, but it is a classic. It's one of my wife's favorite, so I'm not going to talk too poorly about it. I liked it. It was okay. I don't know, it was okay. I don't know. May 3rd, 1978, a day that will go down in infamy. The first unsolicited bulk commercial email, spam, is sent by a digital equipment corporation marketing representative to every ARPANET address on the US West Coast. That son of a... If I could go back in time, I would go back to May 2nd, 1978, and I would go find Digital Equipment Corporation, and I would walk in there and I would...
And you will know my name is the Lord!
Created spam. Ruined everybody's life. And last but not least, on May 3rd, 2002, the first real Marvel Spider-Man movie came out, which was a big hit, but we've had so many Spider-Man movies after that. You know, we go back and we kind of revisit the old ones, and if you think about it now, that movie sucked. It sucked. Because who was in it? You had that dude that cried a lot, and he kind of walked his way into like being a meme. His name is Tobey Maguire, by the way. And then you had Crazy Eyes. You had that crazy eye dude who was creepy, and if you look at pictures, yeah, there you go. That's Willem Dafoe, which I like the guy. He's done some cool movies, but he's kind of creepy. And then the Green Goblin thing, it was like a little goblin guy on like a hoverboard or something. It was just awful. It was really bad. We've come a long way since then. So that's all I've got for May 3rd historic events. We're gonna keep doing these. So subscribe before something bad happens. Like some videos. I don't know. I never know what to say in these exit outro things. I don't know. I like making videos. This is fun. That's about all I got. So until next time, bye.